MS Unscripted.
Welcome to onthewakeupradio.com. Welcome. Today we start. That is the host. Host, tell them who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keane Pettaway, and I am the co-host of MS Unscripted with my partner. Tell them your name.
I am Sindy Ashby. I'm the other co-host. And together we make one host. So this is well overdue.
Yes.
And MS Unscripted. Now, where are we beginning? Where should we start?
Well, how about, since I was diagnosed first, how about we start with me?
Let's go.
So it's funny, the way MS works is that you never know what you're going through. You don't even know what it is. And so for me, it started a while ago, and I didn't realize that what I was dealing with were quote unquote symptoms of MS. I was having issues. I'm about to be so TMI, so if you hear some stuff that you're not okay with, sorry. But I had issues holding my bladder. I was having, urinary accidents all the time. And I just thought, it's just a female thing, whatever, you'll get over it. But then later on, other things started happening. I was having like migraines that lasted for about 30 days. The intensity varied. It wasn't like the same every day, but it was a migraine. It was horrendous. And then it got to the point where I was working in Jersey, and actually even before that, my boyfriend and I were sitting down in my house watching TV, and he turns and looks at me and he goes, "Don't you feel that?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about." He was like, "Your face is twitching." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I don't feel anything." So then I go in the bathroom and look at the mirror, and I see the left side of my face like twitching and uncontrollably, and I didn't feel it. So you know what most people do, we Google. Yeah. And I'm Googling, and I put in the symptoms, face twitching, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't really give me anything per se initially. Then it was the next day I look in the mirror and I see that the left side of my face was like drooping. And I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on? So I decide once again, Google. I Google, and it shows up Bell's palsy. So in my head, I'm like, crap, I have Bell's palsy. Where did this come from? How did I get it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm working in Jersey, and I'm commuting to Jersey, and I get there. I still have the migraine. My face is still bothering me, and I wasn't feeling too well. And my boss was just like, "Keane, I'm tired. I don't understand why you're acting this way towards me." And I was like, "It has nothing to do with you. I'm going through some stuff right now." So she sends me home and goes, "Go to the hospital." I go to the hospital. I'm in the emergency room. Since it's nothing, unless it was life or death, they don't see you at first in the emergency room. It's like, okay, you're not dying. We'll get to you when we get to you. Mm-hmm. When they finally did get to me, they're like, okay, let me see you walk. So I walk in a line. Let me see you walk left, one foot in front of the other. I do that. They asked me about me holding my bladder, if I've had any accidents. And I'm like, yeah, I have. Like, whatever. I don't even know what this has to do with anything. And they're like, okay, we're going to release you. We'll give you some medicine to help you. I think they gave me like prednisone or something. And they were like, yeah, I want you to see a neurologist to get tested for MS. I think you have multiple sclerosis. Me, I'm like, well, first off, I don't even know what the hell MS is really. And I'm like, I don't have MS. So I call my primary care the next day, and I'm like, I call him like, "Doc, I need you to send me to a doctor who's going to tell me that I don't have MS." And he's like, "Yeah, Keane, I can't do that. Because if you have it, you have it." And I was like, "Well, I know I don't. I have Bell's palsy." So he sends me to some doctor at NYU in Manhattan. And I go. That doctor wasn't there, so I had to see some other doctor. And I go see her, and she's like, "All right, let me run these tests." She did an EKG, she did an EEG, she sent me for an MRI and other stuff. So I go, let's say it was a Tuesday. She gives me whatever. I go the Wednesday and I get all my testing and stuff done. Thursday, they called me, and the doctor's office calls me and was like, "Yeah, we got your stuff back. The doctor wants you to come in for an appointment or to see you. And I'm like, I just did it yesterday. So I go to the office and she's like, yeah, Keane, how you feeling? Blah, 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 yada, yada. And then she goes, yeah, I just want to let you know that you do have multiple sclerosis. And for me, it was a whole death sentence. Like, I didn't know anything about it, except, funny enough, my boyfriend, who I had been dating at that time, I think for maybe 4 years, I found out, when I found out he also had MS. So it was just like, okay, well, he's a normal person. He's not going through all the stuff that I'm going through. I guess, I don't know. But in my head, I was like, this is the worst thing in the world. I cried my eyes out. I didn't know what was going on. Like, it was hell. Because for you to find out you have a disease that, one, they don't know where it comes from. Two, you don't know how you get it. It just shows up in your system. And then three, there's no cure. It's like, so what does my life look like after this? It was the worst thing. I didn't know how to deal with it. You know, going through depression, going through having to give myself a shot with some medication in different parts of my body every day. Like, it was the worst thing in the world. But I couldn't let that get me down. I had to still act like life was great. But it really wasn't, because then the MS affected a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, as a woman, you and your man, you know, you guys want to be a couple. You want to be intimate. We're grown adults, you know. Mm-hmm. But with someone with MS, well, I can't say for everybody, because everyone, it differs. But for me, in my head, I might have thought that I wanted to be with my man, but my body, and you know, it's funny. I'm going to say that I was like the opposite. Was it R. Kelly that said, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was the opposite. My mind was telling me yes, but my body was telling me no. And it was like, my man is over there like, okay, well, I'm not understanding. I want to be with you. Like, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't really feel it, but I guess, you know, this is what I have to do as your woman. It got to the point where things between him and I ended up like we were roommates living in a house together. It was like, there really was no intimacy. And it wasn't like I didn't want to. Like I said, my head wanted to, but my body was like, maybe next time. And it caused a whole big issue between me and my partner, because it was like, he's like, I'm not understanding what's going on. And I never told him. That's the thing. With MS, you go through so many different things that you just don't know how to address it or deal with it. I know there has to be people out there that have dealt with some of these things the same way I have, and they're just like, well, what do I do? How do I move on? In my ignorant stage, I thought that, well, if I'm dealing with this, then he has to know, because he's probably dealing with it as well. But with MS, it varies between men and women, and I don't even know how else it differs. But for women, what I've been told is MS affects you worse than men. So here it is. That was my situation for quite some time, until later on, I realized I needed to do more. I needed to be better. I used to walk all the time, do certain things, but now I'm not walking anymore, or I can't walk by myself. I need the assistance of a cane. That's not great for someone who it messes with your psyche. It has you feel like you're less than a person. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I felt like I wasn't a complete woman anymore. I'm having sexual issues. I'm having bladder issues. I'm having walking issues. Like, that takes a toll on you. And at some point in time, there are some people who will just be like, I don't even want to deal with this anymore. Like, I'm done. And they just, I won't say they take their lives, but they just sit down and deal with the situation and say, you know what? I'm not going to be part of this anymore. I don't want to deal with this. However life goes is how life goes. So I would say I didn't let that happen to me. Although there were times where I would be depressed and I didn't even realize I was as depressed as I was. I just chalked it up because anyone looking at me, I always put on a smile. You ask me how I'm doing, I'm great, I'm good. But on the inside, it was like, why the hell is this what I'm going through? What is the reason why I'm the person dealing with this? Like, it makes you question everything about yourself and leaves you in a state of disarray because you don't know why it is you ended up in the situation that you're in. Why out of all the people in the world did you end up getting MS? And it's like, well, I don't know what to say about behind that. It was just a lot. It's just a lot to deal with. Mentally, it takes a toll on you, like I said.
What year were you diagnosed?
So I started experiencing all of these things, I would say prior, I think 2010 was when I started getting tested or I started dealing with everything. And in 2011, March of 2011 is when I was diagnosed with MS. So as of today, what has it been? 14, 15 years already?
14.
Yeah, 14 years.
Wow.
So it's been 14 years since I've been diagnosed with MS. And how it started, as with most people end up get diagnosed with relapsing MS, which means you still are able to walk, do certain things. 2011 is when I got diagnosed. And then 2017, I moved. And it was around 2017, 2018 is when my MS got worse. To the point where now I can't walk long distances. You would never catch me in a grocery store using one of those motorized scooter shopping cart thingies. And if I saw people that I knew, if I was in a grocery store, I'm hiding my face because I don't want anyone to see me in that. Now, that's the best thing for me. You won't catch me going into anybody's grocery store without using one of those. Or now I have a wheelchair. I have a wheelchair for me for work. And a wheelchair for when I have to travel, which is not something that, as a woman, once again, that takes a toll on you because now you can't walk properly. You can't do certain things. And people are like, oh, yeah, I want to go out and I want to party and I want to do this. And you're like, yeah, I can't do those things anymore. I'm not going to be able to. Just like I can't even hang out summertime anymore. Well, I do, but I can't too much because the heat bothers me. I can't be outside summertime anymore. Summertime was the best time of the year for me. Now I don't like it too much. If it's too hot, I can't be there because the heat will make it so bad for me that my body feels heavy and I can't move. I can't do certain things. So it's just like, it changes your whole perspective on life dealing with MS. Or living with MS. I can't say dealing, living with MS. It changes your whole perspective on how you view life. You can't view it through the same glasses you used to before because now everything has changed.
Mm. Did you felt like you lost a lot of people, a lot of friends?
I can't say I lost a lot of friends. What happened per se was a lot of people started being sympathetic. And to me, it was just like, well, you don't have to feel bad for me. Like, I already have all of that to deal with for myself. I don't need you to feel bad for me. And then with me, people were always people are still always, Keane, let me help you do this. Let me help you do that. And that takes a toll on me as well. I don't want your help. I don't like feeling helpless or useless. Climbing stairs, doing all that stuff, I don't like it. And so with friends, I can't say I lost my friendships in as much as I think the dynamic of my friend relationships changed. For some people, not for all of them, but for some of my friends, it changed. And then a lot of people who are my friends don't know what I go through because looking at me, it's the term that they call with MS, it's the invisible disease or the invisible symptoms. Looking at me from the outside, except for me using a cane, you can't really see that anything's wrong with me. So you're like, yeah, okay, she's fine. But people don't know on a daily basis the battles I have to face within myself, trying to get up in the morning, brush my teeth, get dressed, drive my car, go to work, sit up for hours, especially considering the fact that now I can't sleep at nights. Like, it takes I can't fall asleep. I don't go to bed at night. Maybe the earliest I'll go to bed and I have to be up at 7:30 is, before it was 1:30, now it's 2:30. Like, it changes your whole perspective on life, that you have to rearrange things and now tailor it to who you are. And you got to hope that you have mates, spouses, family members, whoever you're with, that are willing to make that change with you, because that's a toll that it takes on them as well.
Yeah, it's truly. I think the meanest thing you could do to someone who was born perfect, with all your limbs, everything working, is now, when things show up, to treat them less. I think this is where the disability comes in, right? And then you're like, I don't need you to point the disability out to me. I'm living with it. Exactly.
It's like you standing there and telling me about what I can and can't do. Oh, Keane, why are you not standing up straight today? You're back. And it's like, I deal with this every day. I don't need you to keep pointing out to me where I am less than, especially considering the fact that I have to mentally deal with the fact that now I'm less than you. And I'm not really less than you. I just have to do things differently. It was someone that said something to me, that I don't have a disability. I have a different ability. And I had to take that and start thinking about my life as being different, not something negative. It's just, I don't do things the same way most people do anymore. I can't do things the same way. I do things differently so that it benefits, or that I'm not putting myself in a position where I'm harming myself. I think that was the best thing I've ever heard was, yeah, you don't have a disability. You have a different ability.
Wow.
Huh. And when did you get diagnosed? How did that happen for you?
Well, it's interesting because I've heard the term. And so, it's one of those things you'll hear a term like HIV and you go, well, that's not going to ever happen to me. So, you know what I'm saying? Right? And so